My name is Emily Carson. I am 22 years old and I live in Portland, Oregon. If you ever walked into a cozy coffee shop near the river and heard piano playlists and laughter from a booth by the window, that would probably be me, a textbook open in one hand and a paint-stained sketchbook in the other. I was always the friend who saw the best in everyone, the type of person who believed that if you cared for someone enough, you could bring out their bright side, no matter how many clouds they hid behind. All my life I felt like I was the helper, the fixer, the shoulder to cry on. Maybe that is why I kept orbiting in and out of Valerie's world. Valerie was the girl everyone liked to watch walk into a room because she had this wild sparkle you could never really own. The trouble was she had been dating Kyle, my best friend, for over a year, and he was toxic in ways that chipped away at her self-worth. I hated seeing it. I hated seeing her light dim. I had developed feelings for her somewhere in the spiral of their messy love, and it hurt watching her get cheated on over and over while she pretended it did not bother her. I tried to help, but you cannot pull someone out of a storm when they refuse to see the rain. Eventually, as years went by and our group started to crack along those fault lines, I told Kyle point blank that he could not keep treating women like disposable toys. That was basically the end of our friendship. We stopped talking, and over time, my crush on Valerie faded. I managed to find happiness of my own. I started dating Maya, a sweet girl from my college art class. I was finally feeling steady, like my own person, until suddenly everything flipped upside down, not in the way you might hope for, of course, but in the way that makes everything complicated and messy. One night, when I was least expecting it, Valerie messaged me. Her words came fast, spilling secrets. She told me she cared for me, confessed she had feelings since before Kyle and her started dating, and asked if we could try now that she was finally leaving him. I should have known better. I should have seen the mess behind all her apologies and excitement, but the lonely part of me wanted her attention, wanted to believe fate had finally circled back to give us a second chance. I broke things off with Maya. I felt guilty, but I tried to tell myself it was for a love worth chasing. Valerie and I started talking, sharing coffees, wandering bookstores, telling each other old secrets and stories. For a moment, I felt truly, honestly happy. It was like we were both finally free from shadows, or so I thought. That is when the second disaster arrived. Out of nowhere, she disappeared for a weekend. My phone showed a single text: "I am sorry, I made a mistake." I knew what the mistake was even before she confessed. She had gone back to Kyle. While I waited for a reply, she slept with him. I do not know if it was loneliness, habit, or hope that he would have changed, but I know she went back willingly. And when she came to me crying, saying she should never have done it and asking me to forgive her, I swallowed my anger and let her think I did. I told myself I would be the better person, that maybe we could still make things work. I let her keep my heart on a string, and she ran right back to Kyle again. It was a cycle that made me dizzy. Sure enough, Kyle cheated on her again. She called me in the middle of the night, broken and sobbing. When she came crawling back to me this time, it was with the same tired voice and the same desperate promises. I wanted so badly to say no, wanted to walk away, erase her number, and move on. But some foolish seed of hope kept me there, caring for her, putting the pieces back together like I always had. Weeks turned into months. I was there every step, being the patient friend, the supportive listener, quietly loving her the way I always had, and slowly she started to see me. Not as a backup plan, but as someone who truly cared. One evening while the world was quiet, she whispered that she loved me. The words hit like thunder in my chest. For a brief second, I felt like I had finally won, but something strange was happening under the surface, like a storm building in the distance. I could not forget what she had done. I could not forget all the chasing, the heartbreak, the rotations between me and Kyle as if we were just toys for her boredom. The unfairness of the whole thing twisted around in my chest so many times, it started to harden into something sharp. While she was falling for me, I was growing tired of being the one to fix things, tired of forgiving people who never truly apologized. So I waited, I put in the work, I let her believe this was the love story she always wanted. She met my friends, painted with me at the river, helped me pick out new books for my collection. We had late night talks about the future. It looked perfect. She became happier than I had ever seen her, which is exactly when I decided to get my revenge. I reached out to Maya, the girl I had never truly forgot. We talked, we laughed, we met for coffee. The memories came back sharp and sweet. It was not long before things turned romantic again. One night, when Valerie was waiting for me to show up and tell her I loved her back, I was with Maya. I gave her the kind of affection and attention I had wasted on Valerie for years, and when she asked me if I wanted to rekindle our relationship, I said yes. I made sure Valerie would find out. Maybe that was cruel. Part of me thinks I crossed a line, but when she called me crying, asking how I could do this to her, I just said, "You did it first." The fallout was instant. Our friends took sides. Some said I was the villain, that I was cruel to hurt her on purpose. Others shrugged and said she had it coming, but the truth is I stopped caring. I did what I had to do to make things even. Maybe revenge does not fix the bruise, but it reminds you that you are not powerless. Now I am back to sitting in my favorite coffee shop near the river. Maya and I are taking things slow. I still paint, I still read. Sometimes I see Valerie walk by outside, but I no longer feel that ache. If this whole experience taught me anything, it is that being the helper does not mean letting people walk over you. Sometimes, standing up for yourself means letting someone feel that sting they gave you first. Maybe I am the villain in some people's stories, but I finally feel like the hero in my own. And that unexpected twist, it is that I do not feel guilty at all.